Yeah, I know. I'm really late. I don't even want to get into it. What's up? Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. What's up, Dan? Ground Pounder, what's up? Billy, what's going on? Yeah, I just these live feeds put a little bit of life back into me, because the rest of you, like, I'm having a hard time enjoying making videos anymore. I'm having a hard time, like, getting going on these live feeds. I'm usually good after I start, but man, I don't know. But it is what it is. Let's just do this. Let's do this. Yeah, my bad, my bad. What up, Clint? Josh Waltz, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's been a little while. How you been? Let me show you guys. So, I know you guys have seen a lot of videos on canopy anchors, probably, and it's been done many, many times. Uh, a lot of times when people get to talk about canopy anchors, they'll talk about. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can shut him up. Oops, you guys are right in the way. Okay, so the canopy anchor talk has been discussed many, many times. Your main reason for probably using a canopy anchor is gonna mainly be, I'm doing all right, Josh. It's mainly gonna be SRT. So, John, what's going on, man? So a lot of times when people talk canopy anchors, they'll get to talking about like DRT and stuff, and I'm not going to discuss anything on that because my opinion, that's cambium savers, that's friction savers. But I'm going to discuss, as far as my knowledge, canopy anchors. Anchoring yourself up in the tree from the ground most of the time, and doing it with gear that you would more than likely already have. So nothing fancy, no major tools, some repurposed stuff. So let me just get into it. So I'll show you everything I got here. I'm gonna do my best to stay up with comments this time, because the past few videos we haven't very good. So background, my dog's over. I know, he's so ridiculous. But here's the tools. So the climbing device, I'm just gonna, as like, just to show it. Yeah, my foot's about to follow him. So as like for demonstrations, this will be what I use for the climbing device, because it's midline, I can attach it real quick, disconnect. So I have shackle, quickie link. Carabiners. Carabiners on micro pulleys. A cambium saver. And a figure 8. So all of them are going to be used as canopy anchors. So today we're cutting the grass. Everybody's like, I'm going to make as much noise as I possibly can because Mike's about to do a live. My AC's like, I'm going to kick on, and it's just one of them days, man. I'm telling you, I'm just frustrated. So let's do this. I'm gonna get you guys a little bit closer since it's all noisy and everything too. At least my dog's being good. He's my buddy. Alright, can you guys see me from there? Pretty good? Okay. Yeah, that should be pretty good. Well, I don't say, it's what I'm saying, ground pounder. They don't listen though. I could scream it. I could just scream at the top of my lungs, wouldn't do me any good. Okay. First. Okay, so I tried to clear this up so that you guys could actually, you would be able to see it. Let's see if I can point that out. Lighting is not, oh, there we go. Cool. So, we are up over that limb there. I picked a pretty girthy limb so that we can show all these, you know, and demonstrate all these on a good size, like, union. It can be shrunk down, you know, but you have to take that into account with some of these because you don't want it to be on a little stem. Well, I mean, I guess it works still, but let's just get into it. I got my rope, it's up over, and I've got it pulled down. I pulled the eye over the top, and the rest of the rope is over there. So I have the eye. This will be the end for, you know, the demonstrations. This will be the end that I'm climbing on and like using. So the first one you would do involves no gear. It is the simplest. It is just, I mean, it doesn't get any easier. So all you would do is take and put a midline knot in your rope. You could do an alpine butterfly like this. I prefer to use a the triple bowline or the circus knot. It's just the knot that I like the best. I feel like you don't have to dress it as much as you do the alpine butterfly, but the alpine butterfly is nice if you get it snug down, set up right. So alpine butterfly, all you got so far. So I'm going to give you some advantages and disadvantages to each too. So what you'll do is feed the end of the rope that you're going to be climbing on, which is this end. You're going to feed it through the loop. Feed that through the loop. Now you're going to ice this knot up there. And so now you have a stationary end that is anchored really, really good. The advantages of this one: very little equipment, cost very little, quick to set up. The only real disadvantage is you got to feed your rope through it. That's a little aggravating. And the other disadvantage is going to be when it comes to retrieving it. So now you climb this in. A lot of times what I do, so I don't get them mixed up, especially if I'm taking my climbing device off and putting it back on, I'll take the end that's going to retrieve and I'll just put a loop in it somewhere. And then usually, what I like about this one is you can go take the retrieval in and go hide it somewhere on the back side of the tree and get it out of the way, you know? So that's what's really nice about that, and it's one rope. So that's a big deal. You have just your one rope that you climb on, and that's it. So disadvantage is, say I'm climbing and I go run myself and do a redirect while I'm up there. I'm trying, ground pounders. I get up there and I go through a couple crotches and now I'm redirected and I come down. So the problem is now you you have a ton of friction with that rope that you wouldn't have with a lot of these other ones. So retrieving it is a little hard if you end up redirecting a couple times. You're kind of stuck. This one, we didn't do anything. You know, we didn't go over, so we can retrieve it pretty easy by just taking the other end and pulling it straight down. And that one's it. That's the worst part I think about that one is that you gotta, if you would usually be using the longer end of your rope and putting it there so you have more climbing rope. So that means more rope that you gotta feed through the hole. Then if you need to untie and connect again, you gotta feed all that rope back through. And with a lot of these, that's the trouble, is when you get up there, maybe you want to advance it a little higher or put it in a better spot. To disconnect everything and set it back up is a big pain. You gotta move all the rope. So I'll show you a couple you don't have to though. So pop your alpine butterfly out and now you're back to where you were before. So you threw the rope up over. That one is just rope. Full rope canopy. No extra tools, no, it's just the simplest way you can do it. Then you move into using a carabiner. Now the problem with this is you can side load the carabiner and it can fail. So I don't use this one. The way you could, you know, counter that, I should have left that alpine butterfly in there. I'll put it back in real quick. But the way you can counter that, you can't use the carabiner because it's gonna side load it, especially at the gate or something. Those things fail easy. So the way you get away with using the same thing, because if you were using a carabiner, it's a simple, quick setup. Plug it in, flip it on, pull it up. But you're dependent on that carabiner now, on that. They're not rated for the most, you know, and you're side loading it and there's potential for the gate to fail. So to eliminate that risk, that's when you just move to something like a shackle, which I'm going to use a quickie, but same thing, you know, same setup. A quickie link, it's got two locks here on the end that you got to disconnect before to come off. So what you would do is, the way I set these up, if it's a stationary end that's not going to be moving, I go onto this, and if something's going to be moving, I put it onto the pin instead of the other way around, so it doesn't wear a groove into it. So the alpine butterfly is not going to be moving. So put it into it, and you put it on, hook it in. Now, because of that round pin working almost like a, it's gonna work like a micro pulley would. So, you're welcome. Yeah. Oh, because Ground Pounder made you guys say thank you. You guys are funny. So you notice? Let me show you. I'll pull it back down. Check this out. This is what's cool about micro pulleys, or not micro pulleys, but these quickie links. It's not going to work as good as a micro pulley, but you see that? How the pin almost is working as like a mechanical advantage. So if we had this set up in the tree and I went over a redirect and I needed to pull it down, it would still work because that pin's going to move and it's going to give you that mechanical advantage. If it's just rope on rope, it's so hard to retrieve. So there's the quickie setup. It's probably, as far as simple and being, quick to undo, you could reset. It's almost hard to beat this setup. But I can get a better advantage on my retrieval with the setup that I use. So I'm going to show you a couple more before I go into the one I personally like. But yeah, so you have this. This works really good. Very simple. I don't like having to use the pins up in the tree. The potential for them falling is just very possible. But what's nice with them is when they're plucked to there, you can usually get most ropes and stuff through, so you don't have to actually take the pin off. But so that was for a carabiner use, and you don't want to use a carabiner, side loading for the gate and stuff. So that's where you move to something a bit stronger, a bit tougher, and the potential of it failing and side loading is not there. Quickie link or shackle. So those are two good setups. I've seen some comments. I don't want to get too far ahead. 9 people here and only have 3 things. You're good, man. I know what you're saying. Alright. So, now, we've done the carabiner one. Now it's only one tool. Now, we would move with a carabiner and a micro pulley. So, the micro pulley is where you're going to get that advantage. Say you know that you're about to do this anchor and you're about to climb a tree and do a bunch of redirects. Having the pulley is going to give you a mechanical advantage and make retrieving it much easier. So this is the last simple one. And then we'll go into some more complex stuff like the soft 8 or like the secret weapon or some I call it, it's like the hard 8 basically, because you're using the same concept. I'll show you. So, have that same alpine butterfly. We'll kick our carabiner in. Now we put a micro pulley on our working end. So, micro pulley cracks open. Hook it on. Now, the part I don't like about this is in this setup right here, you now, once again, are dependent on a carabiner not getting side loaded on a crotch or on the limb up there. So I don't really like that. So this is not one that I often use. I think maybe we'll set it up. Let's see if this works. I just don't think it will. I think the ropes are going to rub if I do. You can almost set it up like that. Like this. That's pretty pinched in there though. But this setup is pretty much what I use, what I was telling you guys. My favorite setup involves basically a micro pulley. It's a different one. It's a little bit of a different setup. So, so you have this. You hook it up. Now, I'll show you as I put it up there first. It's so much easier for it to go up there. It gets cinched down way better. And watch how easy it is to retrieve because of the micro pulley. So, my left hand, just barely give it a little pull, and it's on its way down. So if you look at the way that micro pulley is working on the rope there, you can imagine that this one going up through a bunch of redirects, and that micro pulley pulling it down still and out of those other crotches. Like pretend my hand is one of them. Could we get the rest of the rope back? Yep. So that's another good one. I don't like how you have to be dependent on this carabiner at any point. So here we go. Now, a soft 8, which is a cool concept, something I didn't really get into and use much. So it's maybe a bit controversial, but a soft 8 would be, let's pretend like that part doesn't exist. That would be like a soft 8, okay? It's a little strap that's got 2 rings on it, okay? I'm gonna make this into one by eliminating all this. And I'm just gonna, I tied a little circus knot in it earlier. I'm not going through all that trouble. I'm just gonna tie a loop in it. So that's all I need. I'll show you this when I get it. And so that I don't have to worry about that coming out, I'm going to use a little pin, take the carabiner and clip it on there. So now what I've done here basically is I've made a straight or a soft 8, but you just gotta forget about this part. So soft 8, how does that work? Like this. No knot. Okay. That's the part I don't like about this, is that you have to feed all the rope through. You have to move all the rope to do these. So what I'll do now is, here's our working end. I'm gonna go over here. I'll feed this through. I'll feed it through this one, which is going to be the anchoring end. So I'll just sit up here. Then I'll show you how we connect and how it works. So get a loop that I put in earlier out. So now we put that through. Now remember, we're ignoring that this even is existent there, that part. So we're basically just pretending like it's that. So we take this, we put it on there, and basically it's not the most difficult concept. You're just going to, I'm going to take and feed this end. It's very simple. Do this ring, okay? Now let's do that. Then I'm going to tie a knot in this one. 1, 2, 3. You know, I know something that's really cool is with our setup that we have here, you would normally take and clip a carabiner into that to make sure that this knot can't come out. But we got a carabiner right here, so why not use it? We take it and we clip it on there, just for extra insurance. So now what we have is this knot over here is gonna carry this up into the air. And it's anchored, okay? So what we did there, we took a cambium saver and we turned it in to a soft 8, and it works great as an anchor. It's a really cool little concept, and very simple too. You've seen, all I had to do was feed the rope through, put a knot, and then hook the other end up. So what's nice is if I got up in the tree and I needed to reset this, I do have to move a bunch of rope. So I get up there and I get set in a spot and I'm like, I want to retie it over here. I go to pull this out. I put my lanyard in first, and I go to pull this out. So what's nice is I can just take this part, flip it up over, pull the rope out, and then flip this over the next limb that I want and feed that rope right back through that ring. That setup is set there, and basically you've made a stationary anchor on this section of the rope by using this. That ends up choking off onto this when you feed it through the ring. And what's nice is when it gets up there, it's only resting on this part of it. So as it goes up, you know, most people have a cambium saber. You could make this setup with just some regular like rings too, or but it's real simple. You could buy those little straps and make one, but they sell them, so you could just get one. This just so happened to work really good, and I've used it before, so I'm like, I'll show them that trick that I did with my cambium saber. But so now I've got it back and I've got it out, and pretty easy to retrieve and everything. We'll go ahead and kick that off there first. Take our stopper knot out that we put in, and now that's free to move, and we can turn it back into a cambium saber. If we got up there and we were like, hey, I want to climb DRT, dang it, we would just pull that little loop out that we put into it, that's all the way up on the plastic. Okay. So we pull that little loop out that we put into it, and we would just feed the other end through here and climb, you know, DRT, throw this up over a crotch, you know, pull this end out and then just throw it up over, and then we could switch over to DRT real quick. But yeah, once again, all I did with that to turn that cambium saber was tie the loop in it and put the carabiner on, so that we were just working off of this strap, this ring, and this, like right here, just that. So that's called a soft 8 is the concept and what they call it. But so we'll pull that. I gotta pull that all the way back out because the next one is really cool too. And most of you probably have a ring, a DMM ring, which when I say a DMM ring or something along those lines, you could use an X ring if you wanted to, but it's the green ring that's on the end of this cambium saber. They sell bigger ones, smaller ones, but these are about perfect. So I don't have one of these. The one I have is on my other saddle, and I didn't have time to take it off and all that. And the other ring I had was like off of an old saddle, and I didn't want to use it. And I'm like, oh, I'll use the figure 8. So this trick is mainly used with a ring. So I could use this and just let this part dangle if I wanted to. I guess I mean I could. I just feed that rope through, and I have to feed the rest of it through, tie a knot, pull it up. But most guys have one of these. So this ring right here is our part we're going to use. Let me show you this. So same thing again, which is so dumb. Feed the rope through. I'll try to catch up on some comments while this happens. Mike ain't that great, Ground Pounder. He's alright. Time for a burger. Dude, that's what, what's funny is that's where I was late because we have a Hunt's. I don't know if you guys have Hunt's where you're at, but it's a burger place and shakes and stuff, an old burger place. But yeah, I get Western bacon cheeseburgers. And they told me like 15 minutes and I ended up waiting like 40. And a bunch of other stuff happened I don't want to get into. Yeah. Burger I'll have right after I'm done with this. It's on the menu. Okay, here we go. What's up, James? A little late. Oh, right on. That's awesome. Well, James, you have to jump back to see some of the other canopy anchors if you want to see them. But this is going to be the second to last one. I'm going to show you this one. No, I got two because so far I've done everything involving just one singular rope. Now, this setup, to retrieve it, you know, I mean, there's other ways of doing this. Like, here's one for you. Let me show you one. Here's one that I literally just made up. Figure eight. I was looking at this and just made this up right now. It's got a sewn eye. This is the end I want to climb with. I'm going to feed it through the small hole of the figure eight. Now we're going to basically use this as a soft eight. But we'll call it the old hard eight. Let me show you how this works. Instead of climbing on the eye end, I'm gonna climb on this other end, on the big end. Here's what I'm gonna use as a stopper. This would be cool. I may use this often, but I'm just gonna take a carabiner and I'm gonna clip it in here, which I could just make it. Well, why don't I just make a knot first? But the carabiner will be extra. So carabiner will work in case this knot comes out. This knot is not coming out though. So what I'm gonna do is the same concept as we were doing with the other one, with the soft 8. But check this out. The problem is I'm at the end here, and I'm about to pull this up in the tree. How am I supposed to get it back? That's where you take another rope. I got another smaller rope here. Got another sewn eye. I'll just clip that eye into that beaner at the end. Check this one out. Well, I like that. I like that a lot. That's clean too. That's cool. I wonder if I could zoom that in. Yeah, oh my god. Sorry guys. Can you see that? So this would be the end I climb on. And this is the retrieval end. Now, say you're done climbing, and you want to retrieve it. Now we have the retrieval end. I'm just gonna pull it towards us. That works really nice. Holy cow. That's cool. So then sometimes you end up having a burr on your rope or something. You end up wanting to climb one end more often. So this would let you kind of do that. Check it out. There's the setup. Figure 8 being used as a soft 8. I imagine they made a soft 8 instead of using the figure 8 because it's safer. This may not be the safest thing, but if it's rated for life support to hold you, I don't see why an anchor wouldn't be good too. So, and like I said, if this was to fail, let's pretend like it does right here. Like, oh no, my circus knot came out, and this goes sliding down. It will slide down until it hits that carabiner. So I could actually pull it up like this and it would be okay, but I don't like the metal on metal stuff. But it's not metal on metal. Yeah, it is kind of pulling on metal a little bit more than I would like. I like the knot beforehand. It is better in my opinion. So see if I can get you guys back to normal. Is it normal? What's up, John? Yeah, any figure eight would work in this situation. Pretty simple setup, but once again, this is the first time where you have to involve multiple ropes. So this setup here, I didn't show you the ring setup. My bad. I made one up first. That was crazy. I had to get it out of my brain because I was thinking it. But okay, so the way this works is you're using, pretend like that other side of this figure eight doesn't exist. We're using a ring. The way this works is both ends go through the ring like that. And then what you're going to do is tie a knot, a stopper knot. That's the circus knot. So, like I said, both ends go through it. The opposite end that you're not going to be climbing on is the stopper knot put in it. Then we're going to connect the carabiner. Now I don't think the carabiner can go through that ring, even if it wanted to. Let's see, because in theory you would want something that can't go through that ring. So, yeah, we're good. So, clipped on just in case the knot was to come out. And actually, it would be smart to clip it. I was gonna say maybe onto the no, it's fine like that. Okay, so that's how you're set up. When you pull, that stopper knot's gonna end up at the ring. So once again, very easy to pull up, and you're not getting a mechanical advantage, but it's a very simple setup. Most people have a figure eight in their climbing bag, so it's really easy to use and pretty simple and effective. You know, it's pretty quick and easy. So to retrieve it, this was the end we were climbing on. That's the end that's anchored. You can put all your weight into it if you need to. To retrieve it, grab the other end, pull it back. You'll see this being called the secret weapon a lot of times. It's usually just a ring with a carabiner and a string attached to it. I think made popular by Giorgio Fiore. So he's I've learned a lot from him. So it's always nice when you can find somebody you can learn something from. And he definitely seems to. I learn something every time I like search his stuff out or see something from him. So, yeah, that would be the secret weapon or the ring setup. Let me catch up on a couple comments. That was pretty wild, wasn't it, Dan? That the one setup, it was it worked really good because the figure eight having the hole there, and it just fits through just right. and then works beautiful as a stopper. And especially if you're on a little bitty limb, like a small limb, I wouldn't really like it as much because it's putting flex on this thing right here. But on something big and stuff like this that's girthier, definitely works really, really good. I like it a lot. I do. I'll probably use that one often. So, now, what's my favorite? What is my favorite? If I'm climbing, what is it? Which one am I using? Let's see if I. What's up, Greg? What's going on, man? Peter, what's going on? Jake, what's going on, buddy? A rigging plate lately? Yeah, yeah. I have a pawl, one of those pawls. I should try that. That would work good too. That's a good idea. That Jake just said there. What's going on, Greg? William, what's up? All I've ever done is double rope climbing. I heard single rope is a game changer. It is, and it is pretty simple. You're just looking to make one end of the line stationary so that you can advance up that. You get to use all your rope. You only have to move half as much rope to move around, and a lot of the stuff ends up being self-tending. So there's a lot of advantage to it. There's 14 thumbs up, 13 people. Somebody managed to get 2 thumbs in. Be careful, don't side 8. Oh, yeah, don't side load the 8. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On little stuff, it's probably not the best. Um, but like I was saying before, I could use this shackle the same way I just did that and run that through and run it through on this one. And what's nice about this one, if you're using a shackle, a bigger shackle, actually this is pretty cool. It's midline attachable, so very simple to set up. You're going to get almost that mechanical advantage that you were getting when using the pin on the notch quickie. But check this out. I think I may like this. I never thought about it, but so now this is what you're set up as. Pull that up. Well, that's basically just the ring trick set up using instead a shackle. So the mechanical advantage that you're going to get if you use redirects would be nice, better than the figure 8 would be. So whoever I was just talking to there, maybe Peter on the figure 8, um, if you're using it for the anchor like we were saying there, maybe move to the shackle. I know that that's going to be safe and okay to do the side loading and stuff. Um, and it's not like that's going to be moving around a whole bunch. So, and the best part is, you get up there, you want to change it, it's midline attachment, which 90% of it isn't when you're doing canopy anchors. So that one's cool. What's my favorite though? That's funny. We just had 2 of them that I'd never even thought of and I've never used that ended up somehow making it in here. If I'm climbing, one I'm using is I'm anchoring using my Sonai. It comes off the cleanest in my opinion, and I prefer to use, first I'm going to set it up on a separate rope. So let's do this. This is what I use. This carabiner, which is the, I guess, D-shaped, pear-shaped, I don't know what they call these, but they're bigger at the top. Probably D. And this micro pulley. If you notice this micro pulley, see the difference in it? Now watch how this sets up. This is my favorite part about this. Watch how clean this all sets up. So, micro pulley, hooks onto the end we're going to climb. Now this, the sonai goes inside there. Then I take the carabiner, I slip it there. What I do is I spin this all the way around so that I have the gate here that I can reopen, because I'm going to want to connect something to this. But you see how clean that is? As that goes up, that'll reposition. Now I have the mechanical advantage of having that pulley there when I go to retrieve, which is really, really nice. That's why I prefer the micro pulley. And if you notice, there's no chance of side loading a carabiner here. We are working off the pulley and the eye. So let me show you that real close. It's a very simple setup. So this isn't the way I do it, but I'm going to show you a way that it could be done. So a lot of times I'll go set this up in the tree. Then when I get up there, when I'm going to advance it down, I'll clip something on to retrieve. But we're setting it up. We'll take a different rope, clip it in. So now you see how like clean this setup is. And just like all the rest of them, pull right up. It's very clean. Here's my problem with this setup that I don't like. Now, I work myself around the tree. I'm way over here, and I'm like, I want to reach in over here. Whoa, my retrieval line is wherever. Now, if you got a ground guy, they could go over, tie the tail on. You could pull it all the way, all your rope through. Finally, get a hold of the tail, then pull it over to you. Okay, that works. But I didn't like doing that. That was too much a lot of times, and so that got me thinking there's got to be a different way. So eliminating the second rope is, in my opinion, how I made it better. So I would just pull my rope up, I grab my tail, and I don't put a fancy knot in to retrieve this. I literally just that, and I clip it in. So why would this make it better? So now I pull it back up. I'm not going to show you it going up there because it's the same thing as always. So why would this be better now? Because I now have access to my tail, my retrieval end, no matter what. Say I get way, I'm way out here. Now I can just take and pull on my rope and pull it to me until I finally get a hold of the opposite end. The trouble with this is you can't hide this end now. Where before you would hide your other end, you're not going to be hiding this. So it's going to a lot of times have to go with you. I mean, you can hide it, but then if you get to where you end up needing it, you know, you got to pull the rope through, and then you're then on an endless loop. So then when you go to get it back, it's the easiest one to get back because of the way that micro pulley is set up. It just like rockets down. So it's good for if you're using, you know, doing a lot of redirects up in the tree, and that would be my favorite. So the tail of your rope hooked on like that with a micro pulley and a carabiner. So that is my go-to canopy anchor, my favorite canopy anchor. But what's interesting is during this thing we've done here, I kind of have a few that I want to try. So yeah, liking that. Hope this was useful. helpful to people. I'm not going to do a really long live. I have a new video for you guys. I'll try to upload it tonight. So I'll get on that. And I'm going to kick a few out. They're not going to be as edited. But yeah, it'll be content though. So that'll be the end of my canopy anchor demonstration. There's a lot of, I call them base anchors. I know that apparently I'm wrong, and basil anchor, which I know I'm a bit of a hillbilly, but to me that makes absolutely no sense. I believe it being called a base anchor because it is anchoring to the base of the tree. A canopy anchor is called a canopy anchor because it is anchoring to the canopy of the tree. Base anchor, canopy anchor. Basil anchor. I don't know why we didn't call the other one, like, I was trying to think of a stupid spice. Ginger anchoring. Yeah, that's funny. I should do stand up. I was thinking that you could. Yeah, Greg built some crazy cool stuff. You should have seen his splitter and stuff that he's made. Hey, it's warm, man. All trees and all seasons. What's up, buddy? That was fun. Don't always canopy anchor, but when he does, it's the alpine butterfly, no extra gear, and quick. Yeah, it's just if you're doing redirects, that friction from rope on rope contact is a bit tough trying to get your stuff back sometimes. So I use shackles more than the quickies. Shackles cool. It's just heavy. It's really heavy. But yeah, it gets the job done, man. I would I think shackles should like come with a shackle should go in like this, but it should have something like this that comes off here, okay? Not quite as wide so that it can go through the hole, but another like piece that comes off with a hole in it so you can put a pin. This thing could never come out. The pin would stop it, you know? You just make it real short, put a hole right here. Why have they never done that? I mean, they put one on this end, so put one of these little things on the other end, a smaller version, so I can put a pin in and keep the shackle from ever coming undone. That's probably like $1 million idea that I just blurred out on YouTube. Somebody go get famous and send me $1. Taylor cuts trees. $9 Delta Link. It's my jam. Oh, really? Yeah, I used the Delta Link for my chainsaw. It's that triangle shape works so good for hanging a saw up. So mine ends up getting used there. It's a good tool, especially work really good for like um, anything that you're gonna put like stationary, like a foot loop or something on a hand extender. They work really good for that. Let me let me put some of this stuff up. Sit down and talk to you guys. It is one of my favorite places to visit. Ran into Rion Rounds just by dumb luck when I was there last time. That's awesome. Rion seems like a pretty funny, cool dude. I want to get my hands on a 4-part shackle. Yeah, that sounds cool. So I seen those new ones, them CMI shackles. I think they already got recalled though. I still, for some reason, end up getting questions about what am I using for a spike ascender, and this is what I'm using for a spike ascender. Everybody knows, if you notice, see this little groove that's in it? Let's see it. This plastic on this used to go way out here in there. So I had to take that plastic off because my spike sits in this hole. Or no, it doesn't. It sits in there, up in there. So I grooved that out. So my spike sits in there. Then these straps go up and clip to the top of my spike pad. So then it's stationary. I'm stepping down on it, keeping pressure onto these so it holds itself on. The reason I use that is so I can take it on. There's the best in my opinion. I have to get a different one though. This isn't going to work for me anymore. I need to get, let's see, how would that work? Yeah, I need one that just goes this way because my ribs are still messed up and still sticking out. And so when I got back from having my accident, this thing just really mashed into my ribs. It's like right where my ribs are at, and I can't wear it no more. So you may notice every now and then you may catch me with like a neck tether on, which is something I swore against. But I try not to do that. I try to limit when I do something like that. I'll move this out of the way and I'll sit. Here's something I've never really seen too many people talk about. So, drill balls. I think I have the best and easiest setup. Just a loop. So it's on. Grab the loop, put it over the ball. That's it. So, to put it on, there's just a loop in the end of the rope that I tied, a double overhand. And all you do is put it through that ring and then put it over the top of the ball real quick. So, through the ring, over the ball. Now, your girth hitched on with no knots, and you don't have to untie anything or retie it. So I feel like that's the best way. The best part is you can take that same setup when you go to hook it to the rope with the loop in the end. See how quick it came off. And you just take it and put a loop of the rope through that loop. So now you've made a slip knot that bites down onto the rope, and then if you need, like, you would hook it up like that and then put you a half hitch if you need it, and you pull your rope up. So there is an even quicker way if you feel brave when you're doing this. So I felt like that was the quickest that you could possibly get, and then I'm like, nope, actually there is a quicker way. So check this out. You just through. So it's hooked up. Now you need to hook it to the, you just find a old carabiner and just clip it into the bottom of the ball where the little strap's at. Flip that around. Take your sewn eye and put it through there, and then as it's coming up, you know, you actually may switch that because as it's coming up you don't want that to open up, so you may actually go the other way like that, Yeah, that's probably smarter. And as it goes up, just the rope's connected to it. It's real simple, easy. But I never see too many people just hook to the ball like that. So I do always have a little carabiner that sits on my show ball bag that I do that with, depending on if I'm gonna climb on the Sonai end, and it's not a real high throw, and it looks like pretty clean as far as the crotch. It's not real gonna be real tight. I may try that. Those things are nice. They're my favorite. Actually, I like this one, but these are actually my favorite. The Rock Exotica O's. Oh, did Greg leave? Dang it! I take a shower. I stink. There you go. See you, buddy. Thanks, Ground Pounder. I agree with that, babe. Right on. I agree, Steve. I think Dan the Tree Man. What is going on, brother? Okay, that's cool. Listen, you know exactly where the rope is. Yep. Hey, that's cool. That is cool, dude. Anytime you can learn something. Do you keep them busy, or have you slowed down? I just, I stay steady. There's be safety wires close by the tree guys have adapted to tree work. Huh. Can you put a carabiner through the hole of the pin and then put it back to the front of the gunfire? Maybe. But then it's metal on metal. That's the part that try to avoid the metal on metal a lot of times, especially if it's two different kinds. So it's like aluminum on aluminum. To me, is probably better than metal on aluminum. But just try to avoid it as much as I can. But, guys, we've been going for an hour and 3 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this a little quick. And I apologize, I didn't do a very good job keeping up with comments. But yeah, this was cool. I learned something too. So, like, getting the gear out and experimenting and like just showing something ended up showing me something. So I have a few new things I want to fiddle with and tricks maybe I want to have. Put it in the toolbox. But yeah, think outside the box. You know, don't be okay. Don't be creative for the sake of being creative. That's pointless. Like, just to show something different. But I feel like tools can be used in many different ways, and people just don't. A hammer's supposed to be used to hammer with. You know, a screwdriver's supposed to be used to put in the screw. You know, I'll stab stuff with a screwdriver, and I don't know what I do with a hammer, pull nails. But I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe, and new video I'll see. Alright? Thanks for hanging out. See ya.